If I was a girl, I'd run the city, kissing boys in the street, hiking up my mini. Back in high school, would have been the girl to beat. Football player's number on my cheek, cheating on him with his best friend Pete. Small town moms calling me fast, but I rode him slow in the backseat. It would have been a blast, feeling girly and Shirley. You know all of this is made up, 'cause I'm just a gay guy who's a little high, feeling a little girly, feeling a little girly.
Welcome to Feelin Girlie. I'm your host, Dylan Carlino. Hi, girls. Welcome to Feelin Girlie. I'm Dylan Carlino, your host. Okay, so I number one want to address a couple of things. I'm sure you're here from the online. Obviously, the If I Was a Girl videos, you just heard it in the intro. I created that song myself. And I do just want to say a couple of things. One, we've been sitting here for about 2 hours, and this is super unprofessional, but they're laughing. We have shadows behind us, and and I want to tell you this right now. If you came to this podcast and your first thought was, why the fuck is there a shadow behind him? You have found the wrong guy. Turn it off. Okay? The other producer, she goes, do you have a lint roller for your couch? I don't. I do, but I'm not going to grab it because I'm the type of girl who has dog hair on her couch and shadows behind me. And this is what we're doing from now on. And I have holes in my socks. Let me tell you something. I'm going to promise you this right now about who I am and what this podcast is. And this is a solo podcast. And I'm sure a lot of you were thinking, wow, that's a big endeavor. Yeah, I'm a star. And I do think that this is what is my next chapter in my life, is me doing solo pods. I do have emails from you guys, which we're going to get to in just a moment. But I am on this podcast going to be keeping it real. Now, you've known me online on TikTok, Instagram Reels. If you found me on Instagram Reels, truly thank you. You're doing the hard-hitting work in life, because Instagram Reels is one of the most disgusting platforms you can be a part of. No, people don't talk about Instagram Reels in the way that like we all know them. Like TikTok is like one of the greatest, like my TikTok algorithm knows exactly who I am as a person, and like and by what it knows me as a person, I mean like it gives me at least one Normal People edit every single. Have you seen Normal People, Ariel? So if you haven't seen Normal People, please go ruin your week. It is one of the greatest television shows, the Irish love story between Paul Mescal and Daisy Iger-Jones. Is that who it is? Whatever. Her name's, I'm so far on a tangent, it doesn't even matter. Instagram Reels is like your high school bully. It's like one of the meanest things you could ever do. My producers are whispering to each other. It makes me feel like I'm doing a bad job. Yeah, I'm like, that's crazy. They're whispering off camera. This is, by the way, new. I've never done a solo podcast before. But if you found me on Instagram Reels, you're really, you're doing the hard stuff. And I do appreciate that. But you've known me as many different girls. Maybe you found my If I Was a Girl videos. Maybe you were following me from the Waitress videos. Maybe you found me from Some of This Is Bad, my other podcast. And if you listen to Some of This Is Bad and you're here today, you are going to learn a very different side of me. And if you've never heard of Some of This Is Bad, go check it out. I am on a podcast with my co-host Colton Dowling, where we talk about gay sex. Okay. Yeah, which I'm trying to not swear or anything like that, because YouTube's like psycho. Okay. So yeah, I guess my name is Dylan Carlino. If you don't know, I'm a stand-up comedian. I've been doing stand-up comedy for over 10 years. And I started this podcast after going viral for the If I Was a Girl videos. And there's something about the videos that I find really interesting, which is like, okay, let me just start off with explaining how I know so much about women. That's like the number one question that I get every single day. People are like, how do you know how women speak? And I would say about 23 years of my life, I did not have male friends. I mean, like in high school, peeing in the nurse's office, scared to go in the boys' room, kind of didn't have male friends. And so I've just been always with the girls. And the other thing that people say that I do want to address is I get a lot of comments and messages being like, honey, come out of the closet. You're a trans woman. And by the way, if you've, I don't have a problem with that. There's nothing wrong with being a trans woman, but there's not. I have no. And if you have a problem with people being trans women, this isn't the podcast for you. Okay. Although, I mean, we're not going to like talk about it every single week, but I'm just saying, you know what's sick is when people say that, I go, you feel that way because you don't know yourself, and I know who I am, and I'm not a trans woman. But you know what's crazy is if you don't sexualize women and you also don't want to be one, what you're really saying with those comments is, why are you listening to women so closely? And it's really messed up. And I just think that being friends with women for so long, I really find that the way that women communicate with each other and with me just to be so funny. I think we see a lot online the way that men communicate with, like, people make fun of how men will like sit on a couch and not talk about how their grandmother had died. You know what I mean? Like there's like almost like a lack of that. And I feel like people have a really hard time finding the minutiae of the way women speak to each other and how funny it can be. Like, I don't know. I was just friends. And also I was just friends with all of the sluts growing up. And I talk about this on, I don't even know if I should have said sluts because I don't even think we're 10 minutes in and YouTube's going to take it down, but they're not going to take it down, are they? Yeah, who cares? Just not going to make any money. Okay. I really was taken by the sluts. And well, okay. I feel like I just keep trying to give lore and then I keep going on these tangents. Okay. And I say okay a lot. And also I want to say this. People who get upset with you saying okay and like all the time, it drives me insane because I have bad vocabulary and I'm actually pretty sure that I have dyslexia because on TikTok I realized that I have dyslexia because I can't spell, and that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. But here we are talking about it. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I've had a lot of friends. I was friends with women my entire life, and that's just kind of how I feel. I know so much about them, I guess. I mean, my friends also growing up really went through a lot of adult things and were put in positions like really crazy. I just feel like I was always hanging out with girls that when I was like 16 years old, we were like showing up at like a party with like 25-year-olds and everyone being like, we're all 18. And we were not 18. We were not 18. And then all the 25-year-olds, God, these 18-year-olds are so cool. Number one, already creepy. You know what I mean? Like, if you're 25, you should not be hanging out with 18-year-olds. There's also, the pressure of being 18. I wish I could go back and be hot at 18, but I wasn't. If you were hot at 18, you're so lucky. I mean, and unlucky in so many other ways because I'm sure people sexualized you. But yeah, I was not hot at 18. If you think I'm hot, just know that it's like I've been hot for like 6 months. I've never been hot before in my entire life. But yeah, I'm from a very small town in Massachusetts. I'm from Lee, Massachusetts. It's the Berkshires. If you watch Real Housewives of New York, the Berkshires grew up one town away from Dorinda's house. I don't even watch the show. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. But yeah, I think that this podcast, if you're still with us, is going to be a little bit different than I guess a normal comedy podcast because I've never done a solo pod before. I have been doing stand-up for 10 years. I've had my other podcast, which has 2 other chairs in the room, for 2.5 years, but I've never got to venture in and do something solely for myself and for you guys because I feel like there's all of these women have started following me, and you know what's interesting about that is I don't want to say that I like turned my back on women a couple of years ago, but I think that growing up only being friends with women, I always joked that I was socialized female, and which was so helpful in so many ways, like, but also unhelpful in other ways because then I got older and I got male friends. Like some of the skills you learn don't really translate over. Like I had to learn like later in life, like when somebody leaves the room, not to immediately start talking shit about them. You know what I mean? Like that was, and then people be like, we don't talk shit about our friends. I was like, oh shit, I thought that's what we were doing here. And yeah, guys like don't do that with each other, which is so annoying. Hanging out with, I have so many male friends from doing comedy now, and they're not good at talking shit because they'll bring up like things that the person did, but they won't kind of like dive into the inner psyches of why they're a bad person in the same way that women do. And that's what I miss. But I was friends with women for so long and I was socialized female for so long that like I truly don't know how to do so many things that I think regular guys know how to do. Like I don't know how to date. I don't know how to, I always joke on stage that I don't even think I pee right. Like I all of these things I actually forgot where I was going with this, but I did have a point to make. Socializing. Oh, and so I think then I grew up and I got a little bit older, and especially I think with dating, in high school I was hanging out with these girls who were like the prettiest girls, not popular, but like the sluts. The sluts are never popular. I mean, they're popular, but they're not A-team. You know what I mean? Like nobody trusts the sluts to be like prom queen. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunately that's the world that we live in. And if I was voting, I would vote the sluts for prom queen. But we all know that the timeline that we're all in right now, she ain't winning homecoming queen. It's not. It's just not how it goes. Like one of my friends' nickname in high school was like Crumpster Dumpster because the senior girl found her hooking up with her boyfriend behind a dumpster, and she's gonna be so upset that I just brought that up. But. But I had to. That's the other thing in high school. All of my friends got called the prostitutes because they had like senior boyfriends. It's actually crazy. People forget the young girls have it harder in different ways with like social media now. But like the slut shaming that would go on in like specifically Lee, Massachusetts was like almost drove some of my friends out of school. It was really crazy. But I feel like a lot of my life was just me sitting on like my friend's porch watching like a senior boy come pick her up in a Jeep and just being like, have fun. And then me just being kind of like a fat gay kid being like, when am I going to meet a guy? You know what I mean? Like, and it's just it just didn't happen. And I feel like, not that I built up resentment towards women, but I think because our experiences because we were grouped together and lumped in the same way, but we didn't have the same experiences because I am not a girl. I think my expectations had to be shifted when I got a little bit older because it was, dating wise, like not going to be the same experience. When you're a gay man, you're not necessarily going to be like you go to the bars with your friends and they're all talking to guys and going home with people and you're like, where are the gay guys? It's like, they're not at the straight bar. This is a straight bar in Lee, Massachusetts, a town of 4,000 people. The gay guy who lives here is smoking meth. You know what I mean? Like he's not at the bar because he's ripped on meth. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then I moved to a city and I moved across the country to Portland and I kind of thought, well, now I'll meet someone. And then I started doing stand-up comedy, and you know where gay guys aren't? At the comedy club. I'm shocked. They're never at the comedy club. And so I think my experiences from women had differed so much that I went down a path of like, also, I'm like playing with my sock. It's disgusting. Yeah, it's, by the way, my sock's inside out. You can't even see that on screen, but I'm like, what is this podcast even doing? I mean, the fact that I'm not prepared at all, but I'm prepared. But like the concept of like Feelin Girlie, like the name of this podcast, I think being girly was so like weaponized against me as a kid because I was obviously, could you imagine if I was like a 3-year-old out of the closet being like, I'm gay? No, like it was like, people were like, he's so girly. And so that's kind of why I started making these videos and kind of doing that. Cause it was like almost the last couple of months or year has kind of been like a return to I guess my more feminine side, because I definitely turned my back on shutting that part of me off to kind of hang out with the boys. And I see it in my like old stand up too. When I look back, I was like really dogging on women in a way that I was like, and they were jokes and I didn't mean them, but there was something like a little like anger in there. And I was like, ew, it's funny that like, at the end of the day, gay men are still men and they do turn their backs on women. But it's interesting now that I was like, I'm going to go back to like who I actually am and like really kind of embrace the girls, is when all of my social media starts blowing up. And I was like, oh, it's funny when you're like authentically being yourself and what you actually like, actually everything happens, So I guess this kind of gets to like what we're going to be doing on this podcast, which is I have my friends Josh and Ariel here. Josh is a man, and and obviously I guess I've never met a female named Josh, but and they're dating actually, so there is a heterosexual couple in the room, but Josh is not going to be here. He's just the equipment. Ariel's going to be my producer, but Ariel and I are just girls. We don't really know how to use tech equipment. So Josh has been setting it up for like 2 hours, and now we're finally doing it here. And I think what we're going to be doing here is going to be a lot of fun. Ariel does have a mic. Do you want to say hi, Ariel?
Hello.
Okay. Guys, she's nervous. She's nervous. That's my mom growing up. Whenever my dad would start getting mad, I'd start laughing. She'd be like, he's nervous. He's nervous. He's nervous. And so, yeah, I think we're going to be talking a lot. I think we're going to be talking about the concept of what's making you feel girly every single week. Yeah, that was a great job, Ariel. Don't ever...
What was I supposed to say?
Say, hi, my name's Ariel.
Hi, my name's Ariel.
And
You already said that.
Yeah, of course. And Ariel's an incredible painter. She is an actress. She is...
Barely.
Okay, she's a girlfriend, which is huge.
Dog mom.
A dog mom, exactly. And her family, and she grew up working at a Greek restaurant.
Yep.
Okay, and Ariel's gonna get more comfortable on the mic, and eventually once she's comfortable on the mic, we're gonna get a camera on her as well. But as of right now, she can't be trusted with the mic, unfortunately. And I hate to be a man saying that no, this woman can't speak, right? But we'll be cutting to Ariel, and what we're going to be doing in this podcast is actually so special, and a lot of people don't realize how special it's going to be. This is going to be a comedy, ranting, live advice. It's basically going to be me talking about whatever the fuck I was at my first fuck. Okay, what are we at? 15. Oh my God, I've been doing this. Oh God, guys. That's crazy. Okay, I've been doing it for 15 minutes. Yeah, okay, so I can swear now because we have to wait to the 10-minute mark. I need to stop bringing that up. They don't care about the logistics. It's hard not to talk to the people behind here, because I'm actually talking to you guys, my closest friends. And if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are one of my closest friends. And I'm sure you're thinking, wow, this guy has ADHD. Ding, ding, ding. I absolutely do have ADHD. But I also wanted to, and if you sent in an email, by the way, thank you so much. We are going to be reading them off today. I have a bunch of emails to read, and so thank you so much for sending those, because I literally posted like one Instagram and TikTok story and got like 10 emails, which is incredible. I should have said like 100, but that's so embarrassing. Everyone listening is like, he only got 10. If you're listening to this and you didn't email me, it's at feelingirliepod. And I really want to talk about like the concept of feeling girly, because I do think it's something that we all feel. Like what's an example of something that makes me feel girly? I actually do kind of feel girly when my legs are crossed like this. I feel really girly, and you're gonna hear me mention this name so much. And please, if you know her personally, don't send this to her, because I don't want her to know that I talk about her every single day. But like, when a Maggie Rogers song comes on, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing that makes me feel like a woman who knows everything's going to be okay than when a Maggie Rogers song comes on. That is something that's like, I feel it in my bones. And then I want to like dance. Like, have you ever seen Maggie Rogers dance? No.
Did she open for Taylor Swift?
No. And you know what's crazy? She did not open for Taylor Swift, but I've said forever, when I meet Taylor Swift, and this could be this year, I actually really think that I would get along well with Travis, and not in like, and I'm not saying that in like a gay guy, I want to suck his dick kind of way. Like, I do think that me and Travis, I think he would like my stand-up, because if you guys don't know, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm good at stand-up. If you see me do stand-up and I bombed, that was just one night. But I feel like Travis and I would really get along, and then he would be like, you have to meet Taylor. And I'd be like, of course, I would love to meet Taylor. And if Taylor said like, you can ask me one question, I literally would say, you didn't have Maggie Rogers open up for you at the Eras tour. It's crazy to me. I think, I go, what's going on there? And that's what everyone wants to know. If you're asking yourself, also, if we're going to just quickly talk about Taylor, and this is not a Taylor Swift podcast, but she has written the story of my life every 2 to 3 years since I was 14 years old. So it is, so she is kind of in the fabric. I'm going to be honest with you. But I want to be very staunch on this, and I don't talk about this publicly. If you're wondering where I stand on if I think Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss had a relationship, you're sure as hell I do. And I'm not going to apologize for that. And I'm also not going to dig deep. Okay. I also think that Harry Styles, I think Larry's real. I'm not even a One Directioner. R.I.P. Liam. Okay. That's bad. cut that. Ariel doesn't know how to cut yet, but she's very new to podcast producer, but we're doing this together. So cut that thing about Liam because that was insensitive. I also want you guys to know I'm insensitive. I have been a stand-up comedian for 10 years. The boundaries of what I think are appropriate are probably not going to be up to your standards, but what I'm hoping is that this finds the right audience of young women who are ready to be bitches and sluts. Well, this is what I am. I'm a bitch. I'm a slut. I'll ruin your life. I really will. Okay, and I've also never been in a relationship, and that doesn't mean anything. When you talk, you gotta grab the mic. Okay, you have to grab the mic.
So sorry, I said really?
Yeah, yeah. The really in the mic is almost more mean. Really? You have never been in a relationship? I do kind of feel like, let me grab my notes because there are some things I wanted to kind of address.
Aren't you like 30?
Aren't you like 30? Yeah, there are hundreds of thousands of people in this world who have 30 who have never been in a relationship. Let me just address that right now. No, because I do. Because I talk about relationships a lot, and you guys are always like, how do you know exactly how I feel? And I've watched all my friends be in relationships, and I really just listen to them. But I've been in like one kind of relationship that was not, and that's what I also want to say. I had no male friends until I was 23, and then I met my first male friend, and I fell in love with him. And so that's like bad. And that was like the one situation types thing that I ever had. But no, so here's my trajectory with love. I'm gay. I'm in the closet. Okay, high school, in the closet. I come out at 18. I go, surely I'm going to meet somebody. Now at this point, and if you're listening to this, everybody's beautiful. I was very overweight at 18. And I don't know if you know anything about gay men and their dating standards, but they hate overweight. They don't like it. So then I go, okay. And so then by the time I was 23, I got stuck in my hometown for a little bit. And so I didn't have there. And also like, I hate to be like this, but like, it's kind of hard to find like another small town gay guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's already so few gay men in the world. Percentage wise, that like, wow, you're gonna find one in a town of 2,000 people. You know, all the towns have like 2,000 people. It's like, what is that? Like 4 gay guys, and like the other 3 are married to women. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so hard to find one. And then, hopefully this isn't triggering, but I talk about my weight all the time. Then I became like 400 pounds and could barely fit through the door, and in a really beautiful way. Like I used to be like Gilbert Grape's mom, like, when I die, burn the house down, Gilbert. You know what I mean? Like I've lost like 200 pounds. I could gain it back at any second. I'm not someone who's going to sit here and tell you I could gain it back at any second. And so that was hard. And so then I thought, okay, I'm going to move. I was 23 and I go, I'm going to move to Portland, Oregon. Cause I also wanted to get like as far away from my family as I could. And I go, I'm going to move to Portland, Oregon. Cause I heard there's gay guys there. I get there. All lesbians. It's a city of lesbians. And so then, and that's where I met that one guy where I kind of had a situationship where we were like just friends for like 2 years. And then I was like, I'm in love with you. And he was like, I'm straight. And then I was like, okay, well then I don't think we should be friends anymore. And then some shit went down. He was like, I have feelings for you too. And then, I ended up like compromising like every belief system that I ever had to be in a relationship with him, and kind of molded myself into something that he could digest, and then was like completely lost myself. As that was the first time I've always had a very strong identity, and the only time I've ever thrown my identity away was for a man. So that, I guess it didn't really stick to my feminist values there, but yeah, I had one situationship, and then I became an alcoholic and had to move to Austin, and now 3 years sober, and now I'm finally feeling like love's about to come. But I did go to a psychic last year in May, and she told me career stuff. Actually, she predicted all this career stuff that's happening right now. She predicted all of it, but she said I'm actually not. She goes, let's do love. She flipped over a car and she goes, it's not happening anytime soon. It's never good when she looks at you and goes like, don't even think about it. Just focus on career. And she goes, but it was actually, she goes, the guy you were going to like date seriously is already up here. Like, he's famous. She goes, so you have to get famous so that you can even meet him. So please listen to the pod. I need to meet my man. If you don't listen to the podcast, I will never find love. Yeah, so I've never been in a relationship, but I have watched my friends go in and out of relationships. I sometimes feel like people who have never been in relationships give the best advice, and I'm speaking biasly, obviously, but I think that I give great advice for people to do what's best for them. And sometimes what's best for you is not what's best for your relationship. And I think people in relationships know the difference between that. And so they would rather be in a relationship, so they choose what's best for the relationship and not actually them, and then end up breaking up either way. But because I've never put the value on a romantic relationship over myself, I feel like I give very good advice on what you should do for an individual, even if you are in a relationship. So that's why I actually do think I'm qualified, and my friends say I give the best advice. And they always call me when they have their shit going on. Yeah, so I guess, Ariel, is there anything that's making you feel girly this week? Do you feel more or less girly when you have your glasses on? Because I feel like if I was a girl, I would not feel girly with glasses on. I would take them off and I'd go, oh, I feel girly.
That is probably why I don't wear them a lot, even though I need them. I guess I feel less cute with them on, you know.
I actually need glasses as well, and I don't wear them because I look hotter without them. And I know that's crazy, and everything I do is about looking hot. I hope you guys know that. And if you're sitting here being like, you're not hot, okay, that's fine. But like, it's my goal in life to look hot. And I can tell you right now that I'm sure some of you are like, that's a bad goal. I don't care.
I think a lot of people have that goal.
But you know what? I've had such a good personality for so long. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being funny. I'm sick to death of being funny. I would rather die than be funny. Just for a day, I would like to be the kind of hot that people look at with just nothing going on up here. You know what I mean? Like, just, I wish you would like unscrew my head and there'd be like marbles, but like my whole body was chiseled. And I know that that's not what you should want in life, and there are such bigger magical things, but God, wouldn't it be incredible to be like scary hot? But yeah, and so I feel like this podcast is really all just gonna be, and by the way, I'm gonna stop referencing it as this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get into the weeds of it, but we're just kind of, oh, you know what I was thinking about today? There's a real trend online, and tell me if you've seen this, of like, well, one, anybody who goes online and is like, I don't think I look my age. Can you guys guess my age? Have you seen these online?
Yeah.
When people do that, I really feel like they are setting them up for failure, because people online are just like looking to hurt your feelings. That's like the number one thing that people want to do, is hurt your feelings. But it made me think of growing up until I was like 25. People would be like, you look so young. Like, I had severe baby face energy for my entire life. Like, if I was a rapper, my name would be Babyface. Like, honest to God, because my whole life I'd be like 21 and people would be like, you look 16. And I'd be like, I don't want to look 16. And they'd be like, well, you know what? You're going to really like it when you're older.
Literally same.
Yeah. But then you know what happened? Can I ask you this, Ariel? Were you a little chubbier? Did you have a thick?
I had like a chubby face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way, anybody. What they mean, I put this together today at 30, because now that I've lost weight and I got like a little bit, if you are skinny and have like no fat in your face and your face kind of thins out, you stop having a baby face. And so I'm just like, oh, you're just like, so when I look back, people go, you have a baby face. One, I didn't even realize you were calling me fat, and now I'm pissed. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause that's what they were saying. And then it's so hard to grow up as somebody who is told, you look so young. You look so young for your age.
Normal.
And now we look normal. And it's so unfair. And I was thinking about this today, because now people go, how old are you? And I go, 30. And sometimes they guess older. I thought, I have lost and gained weight. My skin is not normal. And by the way, I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I've been smoking cigarettes for 12 years. I do not recommend anybody smoke. Can I tell you guys a secret I've never told anybody? I wanted to be addicted. I know, because I'm very influenced by TV and movies, and I thought when I was like 17, I thought I loved drama. So I loved the idea of like, God, I can't quit smoking. This is humiliating to admit. And I got myself addicted. I did it. I remember thinking I did it. And you know what's scary about that is I didn't realize it. I have an addictive personality. So yeah, I really the gun was already loaded and I took it off safety. And so now I am addicted to smoking cigarettes and vaping, both. Really scary combo to be doing both, because now I just smoke cigarettes outside and I vape inside all day long. If you saw me in bed, if you saw me making even these videos that you watch, if you watch the If I Was a Girl videos, you know all those cuts? Everything in between there is just me just hitting my vape. Like being like, what do girls do? It's really sick. But yeah, so I do have a couple of things. This is actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Not that I thought it was bad, but yeah, so I lost, so I guess I was saying that like, it's so unfair being somebody that used to be called young, but then lost weight and smoked cigarettes for 12 years and now looks older than, you would think.
I don't think you look older, for the record.
Okay,
you
but
just look your age, I guess.
Can I tell you a secret though? You have to say bad things about yourself, because people, no, I'm going to be real. Some of you guys are online. I'm going to be real with you guys right now. I believe that I also want to say this. The reason I talk about wanting to be hot isn't because I think I'm ugly. It's because, well, one, I was overweight my entire life, but two, I believe, and this is the sick part, that I have the potential to be one of the hottest people in the world. I know that sounds crazy. And so that's why I'm hard on myself. I'm not hard on myself because I think I'm gross. I know what I could be. So to me, I'm pushing myself, Same thing. I think I'm one of the greatest people in the world, but you can't let people know how highly you value yourself, because that's when they're online, they want to take you down. So you kind of have to be like, I could do better. You know what I mean? You have to do that kind of stuff. But I did prepare some stuff. I did get a couple of Reddit stories. There was one that I thought was interesting. Just because I was like, I wasn't sure if you guys were going to email me. I did. Actually, should we just do emails? Because what are we at? 20 minutes?
32.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my God. First email. This one just came in. Okay. By the way, I have not read any of your emails. I want to do these live on review. And the first one that just popped up, I'm not going to say your guys' names because I actually have respect for my fans. And as Paris Hilton said, like, my fans are like my family. And you guys really are. Like, if you're listening to this right now, you are my family. And also, please like and subscribe, because it actually makes a huge difference. And I know that's crazy to do in the middle of the podcast, but I'm telling you, it will really help. And if you don't want me to be famous, okay. If you don't want me to be famous, you actually can't stop it. The prophecy is being fulfilled. Okay, but this girl just messaged me immediately, came in 7 minutes ago. This is how you know it's fate. Title of the email: boyfriend won't go down on me. Oh, let's go. My boyfriend kind of always says that going down on girls wasn't his thing. And I was a virgin when we met. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't like that you were a virgin when you met. Unless you guys, I don't know. I feel like I might have a lot of young people listening to this. So maybe you need to hear this. Also, he's never made me orgasm. I faked all my orgasms. Okay. There's a lot more of this email, but we have to start off right now. It's not looking good. Okay, that's really number one. And I'm not going to put this on you, but one, if a guy says it's not his thing, well, maybe being in a relationship isn't his thing, because one, he's not making you come. So that's already not going to work long term. Like, you're not going to be able to fake it the rest of your life. So this is something, two things. One, he needs to either figure out, but you also need to start being honest with him, because this is not helping it. Faking, and I know it's hard to do because nobody, especially if you met him when you were a virgin, I'm sure you don't have a lot of like sexual confidence, or maybe talking about sex is embarrassing for you. But if you have to be able to talk about the person that you have sex with about this, because could you imagine living your life? What if you marry this guy? And then what? You're just going to fake it your entire life? No, because then you're going to be like, I'm going to start going to the gym because you're going to need to get out your aggression because you're not coming. And then you're going to start working with a trainer, and then he's going to be super hot. And then all of a sudden he's going to be fucking you, eating you out at the age of 32, but you're already married. Now you're cheating on your husband. So now we're in a huge spot because you weren't communicating what was really going on. I'm also not on the side of your boyfriend. Let's read the rest of this email because I'm telling you, you will end up cheating on him. Well, by the way, I'm fine with that. People are on the internet being like, don't cheat. If he's not going to go down and he's not going to make you come, I'm telling you right now, you're a girl. You can go to the bar. You can get eaten out in front of the entire town. Okay, back to the email. If I didn't tell you guys this just before I keep reading this, I'm an incredibly graphic person, and I'm not going to apologize for that. And if you're afraid of talking about sex, I'm not. I'm more afraid of talking about like my inner feelings, which this podcast is going to be, I think, a vulnerability exercise for me, because I think I'm going to try to be more earnest on here while also being funny. Okay. He's never made me orgasm. I faked all my orgasms. So pretty much he thinks he's a sex god. Sorry, that's so funny. Anyone who's calling themselves a sex god whose like girlfriend was a virgin when they met, it's like, that's very telling. It's like, I'm a sex god. It's like, okay, well, she's literally never done anything. I didn't really know we were even be together this long. So anyways, I have his 3 children after being together for 2 years. He proposes to me and we live together, and he won't go down on me.
That's crazy.
I asked him what the problem is, and he just says he doesn't like it. And I'm like, well, I don't like half the stuff I do with you. Here's the problem. I finally had to fess up and tell him that I faked all my orgasms, and that he is just like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yes, I do. And he's like, no, you don't. I asked him if there's anything I can do to make the experience better for him, and he just says, nope, he won't do it. I asked, well, like what? Put on like deodorant? Honey, like that doesn't work. He's gay. I'm telling you right now, if he's refusing to go down on you, not listening to you, your problem is so much bigger that you had 3 kids with him. I mean, this isn't fair to say. We really got ourselves in deep here with the 3 kids. That was, I mean, when I thought maybe this was like I was 17 and now I'm 21 and we're at college. Okay, wait, 3 kids, and he refuses to go down on you. I asked him if there's anything I can do to make the experience better. I asked him if we can use toys instead. He said, no, I'm gross for even asking. Do I leave someone over this? I have 3 kids and I'm 21. I don't want to live a life without pleasure. Help. Also, I love your videos. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching the videos. Okay. I feel like this is the moment. Now I'm like getting on my like, here's how you know shit's going to get real. Okay. Okay. I want to be careful because you do have, okay, confirmation wind. If you heard that was the wind. I do feel like I want to be honest with you while also this is not someone, it's hard because you have 3 kids with him, and obviously you have to be in a safe situation. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to leave the father of your children. That's insane. And also I would say cheat, but I don't think you're going to have time to cheat when you have 3 kids at 21. But if you want the harsh reality, and I'm going to give it to you harsh, he's refusing to go down on you. He's refusing to use toys on you, which all of this is like, to me, like basic. Like I think it shows a lack of even caring about your experience during sex. I mean, clearly he has no problem busting inside you if you're having 3 kids in 2 years. And so I think, remember, it's also like a respect thing. Like he has no interest in your pleasure whatsoever. And so do you think if someone has no interest in your sexual pleasure, they're going to have any interest in the pleasure you take in the rest of your life? I don't think that anybody who, it's not like he's going to like respect you and all of your dreams and ambitions and quality of life in one area, but then sexually is going to be like, no, I don't care about that. Everything bleeds into everything. So this is I unfortunately think you have a much bigger issue here in your relationship than you can't come. I think you have a boyfriend who doesn't care about your feelings or experiences or quality of life. You have 3 kids, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you to leave him. That's very hard. Childcare is very expensive. But I would say I would start making a plan on figuring out what your next steps is when this doesn't work out. Because I think that's the option, or you're going to end up being miserable for the rest of your life and cheating on him. I guess you could just like refuse to have sex with him. But then you get into like, I'm not going to be a man on the internet telling a woman to like refuse to have sex with her husband when I don't know if he's like violent. Because that's something to really consider because men are historically violent. So I don't want to put you in an unsafe situation either. But, if he's like just a little bitch, yeah, stop fucking him. I would stop fucking your husband or boyfriend. I don't really think you need to be fucking him. Maybe he could take care of the kids. You go to the gym, fuck that trainer. That sucks. Maybe just bring in the vibrator. Make him think it's his idea. You already told him. That's bad, right, Ariel?
Did she already communicate to him?
They got into a fight and she said, I faked all my orgasms. Not the best way to bring it up, but but also he seems like a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, if you already tried telling him nicely and it didn't help, that's really unfortunate. I don't know. I feel bad.
I know. I feel bad too.
I feel bad.
If you didn't have the 3 kids, well, if you didn't, what did you say?
She's just so empathetic.
She's
like genuinely like.
I'm really.
Do you not think what I said was empathetic? That's crazy, Josh. Sorry, guys. Josh will not be here next episode. Okay. It's so hard because of the 3 kids. That's what's making me feel.
If you're not happy, like you have to do what's best for you.
I do think you need to figure out what you're going to do next and make a plan and start. You're 21 and I don't know if people told you this.
Young.
You're so young. You have and honestly, you're so lucky. I mean, like if you were going to have kids, they are all going to be out of the house by the time you're 40 and you're going to be like living your best life. So just know that it's like a marathon. Just push through and enjoy your kids. And also do yourself a favor. Start hiding money. Start hiding money and get a little bit on the side. And this isn't even a joke. If he controls money, stuff like that, make sure that you have secret money hidden that he doesn't know about so that if things blow up or you want to leave, you can. And I know that's hard, but just start stealing. Okay. What'd you say? Is that it?
Yeah, you're at time.
Okay.
It's been 41 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought we said 45. Or.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
guys. Okay. Let me just say this one thing. I just opened another email. It's from, I'm going to say your name, Ella. What's popping? I got some great tea I'd love to share in your podcast. It involves a love story and a friend breakup. I assure you, your audience would be shocked. But that's all you wrote, bitch. Okay, so let's just talk about how the emails work. Okay, when you email me, just email me the story. I will read it. You don't need permission to send the story. The permission was me giving you my email publicly. Okay, so please don't do that. I'm not going to respond to you, Ella. But please, if you're watching this, go ahead and send the story. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode for the first one ever. Maybe this will be the second. Who even knows? But yeah, so if you listened and you got this far, please follow that like and subscribe button. Follow us on all social medias. You can follow the podcast at Feelin Girlie Pod. If you want to email the podcast, it's going to be feelingirliepod@gmail.com. Yeah, interact with all the videos, and stay girly. We'll talk to you next week.